Did you know that nearly every woman over 60 will experience balance problems? Almost all of us, and not just once. Why do our steps feel less steady as the years go by? Why do so many strong, capable women suddenly fear a simple walk across the living room? Could it be that we're making small mistakes, everyday habits that quietly chip away at our stability? I didn't always think about balance, but then, one morning, I stumbled in the kitchen, no warning, no reason. And that was the moment I realized this could happen to anyone. Today, I want to share 7 common mistakes that make older women more likely to fall. I've made some of them myself. Maybe you have too. Let's take a closer look together. Legs that aren't what they used to be. I used to walk with ease across the yard, down the grocery aisle, even up the stairs without thinking twice. My legs were strong. They carried me through years of work, raising children, and keeping a busy home. But sometime after I turned 70, I noticed small changes. My steps felt slower. My knees ached more. And one day, as I stepped off a curb, my legs wobbled in a way that startled me. It wasn't pain that worried me. It was the feeling that I couldn't trust my own legs anymore. Many women believe that losing balance is simply a part of getting older. And while it's true that aging brings changes, that's not the whole story. Our balance doesn't just disappear, it weakens for reasons we can often fix. Some of those reasons live in our shoes. I spent years wearing soft slippers around the house. I thought they were comfortable. But when I slipped on the tile carrying laundry, I learned how dangerous comfortable can be. Support matters, so does grip. A loose sole or slick bottom can turn a normal step into a fall. Other reasons live in our daily habits: sitting too long, avoiding certain stairs, grabbing onto countertops without even thinking about it. All these quiet moments point to something deeper. Our bodies may be changing, but our routines haven't caught up. I share this not to scare you, but to say this: you're not alone if your legs feel different now. You're not imagining it. And more importantly, it's not just old age. The way we move, the way we walk, the things we wear on our feet, they all matter. Losing balance is not just about what's inside our bodies. Sometimes it starts with what's beneath us. With one misstep, everything above can follow. The good news is, once we know what's causing the shift, we can begin to steady ourselves again, one step at a time. A weak body, but not your fate. Not long ago, I noticed something had changed. I went to stand up from the sofa and realized I needed both hands and a little extra push. It wasn't always like that. I used to spring up without thinking, but now my legs hesitated. My core felt soft, and deep down, I knew my strength wasn't what it used to be. That didn't happen overnight. It was slow, almost invisible. A little less walking, a few skipped chores, more time sitting, less time moving. No big moment, no warning. But over time, my body lost what it had spent years building muscle. Most women my age don't think of muscle loss when we talk about balance, but it's one of the biggest reasons why older women lose balance. When the muscles in your legs, hips, and stomach grow weak, they stop doing their job. They can't react fast when you slip. They don't hold you steady when you turn quickly. And when you reach for something on a high shelf, they can't keep your center grounded. But here's the part I want you to hear. This isn't the end. Weakness is not a final sentence. It's something we can work with. I didn't join a gym. I didn't buy fancy gear. I started right at home, just a few minutes a day. Leg lifts while brushing my teeth, light weights while watching the evening news, holding onto the kitchen counter and rising onto my toes. It wasn't about looking fit. It was about feeling safe. And little by little, I did. I felt sturdier on stairs. I caught myself before I tripped. My body started to remember its strength. If you feel like your body has grown softer with time, you're not alone, but you're also not stuck. We may not be 30 anymore, but we're still capable of growing stronger, steadier, and more in control. Our bodies respond to care, even now, especially now. Fading vision, dim light. I used to move through my house without a second thought. I knew every step, every corner. Even in the dark, I could make my way from the bedroom to the bathroom without turning on a single light. But a few years ago, something changed. One night, I got up quietly, not wanting to wake my husband. The hallway was dark, just like always. But as I walked, I missed the edge of a small rugone I'd stepped over hundreds of times. My foot caught, and I stumbled hard. I didn't fall, but I bruised my knee and scared myself more than I cared to admit. That's when I realized something. My eyes weren't giving me the same information they used to, and my brain was still trusting them like nothing had changed. As we age, our vision shifts. It doesn't always happen suddenly. Maybe the light feels too dim, or shadows seem deeper. Maybe your depth perception is a little off. 1 inch too far, 1 step too short. That's all it takes to lose your balance. That's one of the most overlooked reasons why older women lose balance. It's not always about weak legs or poor footing. Sometimes it's about what we see or don't see, especially in low light. I finally had my glasses checked. The prescription was years old. I got new lenses with anti-glare and better contrast for night. I added soft night lights in the hallway and the bathroom. Just little plug-ins from the store. But what a difference they made. I no longer squint or second-guess my steps in the dark. If your glasses are scratched or outdated, or if your home feels darker than it used to, those small things can add up to big risks. We trust our eyes to guide us, but when they grow weaker, we need to help them along. Better lighting, clearer vision, simple changes that bring confidence back into each step. You don't have to live in fear of the dark. You just need to see it more clearly. Silent side effects from medication. A few years back, I was prescribed a new medication for blood pressure. Nothing unusual, just something the doctor said would help me feel more steady. But after a few weeks, I noticed something odd. When I stood up from the sofa, the room seemed to sway. Not a big spin, just a soft tilt, like the floor wasn't quite where it used to be. At first, I blamed myself. Maybe I got up too fast. Maybe I was tired. Maybe this is just what getting older feels like. But the unsteadiness didn't stop. One afternoon, I nearly knocked into the kitchen table while turning too quickly. That's when I finally read the fine print on the bottle. May cause dizziness or loss of balance. It was right there all along, and I had brushed it off as something age-related. This happens more than people realize. We assume that when our balance fades, it's because of aging. But one of the most common and quiet reasons why older women lose balance is the medicine they take every day. Our bodies don't process medication the way they used to. A dose that worked fine in our 50s might be too strong at 70. And when we take several prescriptions together, they can interact in ways that affect our balance, even if each one seems harmless on its own. After that scare, I brought a list of every pill I was taking to my doctor. He reviewed them all and adjusted my dosage. Within a few days, the dizziness faded. I felt more grounded, more clear-headed, and I stopped hesitating every time I stood up. If you ever feel lightheaded, off balance, or just off in a way you can't explain, don't ignore it. It may not be just age. It might be your body reacting to a pill it no longer handles well. Speak up. Ask questions. You know your body better than anyone, and sometimes, one small adjustment can help you walk safely again. Forgetting balance. For most of my life, I never gave balance much thought. It just happened. I could walk, turn, reach, and carry things without ever worrying if I might fall. Balance was like breathing automatic, invisible, always there. But over time, I started feeling less sure on my feet. Not all the time, just little moments, like stepping off a curb and needing an extra second, or turning too fast in the kitchen and feeling slightly off. I told myself it was normal. I was getting older. That's just how things go. What I didn't know then, but I understand now, was that balance isn't something you keep just because you had it once. It needs to be used. It needs to be practiced. And when we don't, it fades. That's one reason why older women lose balance more often. Not because we're careless, but because we've stopped asking our bodies to stay steady. I learned this the hard way at a senior wellness class. The instructor asked us to walk heel to toe across the room. It looked easy, but when I tried it, I wobbled. I had to grab a chair halfway through. I wasn't embarrassed. I was surprised. That's when I realized how long it had been since I challenged my balance, really tested it. So I began again, slowly, standing on one foot while brushing my teeth, shifting my weight side to side at the sink, practicing small steps in a straight line while holding the wall. Nothing fancy. Just reminders to my body. Stay awake. Stay aware. And it worked. I began to feel more secure, more present. I trusted my steps again. Balance is not just for the young. It's a skill like writing your name or tying your shoes. You don't lose it all at once, but if you stop using it, it slips away. The good news is, with just a little effort, it can come back. Even now, even here, we can learn to stand steady again, drinking less water than the body needs. There was a time when I never thought much about drinking water. I had my morning coffee, a cup of tea in the afternoon, maybe a little juice with dinner. I never felt thirsty, so I assumed I was fine. But then I started getting dizzy when I stood up. Not every time, but often enough to make me pause. I felt lightheaded walking from one room to the next. I thought it was just part of aging, something that came with the territory. Then, during a checkup, my doctor asked how much water I was drinking each day. I didn't know. I hadn't been counting. He explained that as we get older, our sense of thirst changes. Our bodies still need the water, but the signal to drink becomes weaker, so we drink less without even realizing it. And that's one of the reasons why older women lose balance. Dehydration, even a mild case, can affect how steady we feel. It makes our blood pressure drop when we stand. It fogs the mind, tires the muscles, and throws off our sense of space. All of that increases the chance of a fall. That night, I started keeping a small notepad by the fridge. Every glass of water I marked down, just to see. And the truth was, I wasn't even reaching 4 cups a day. No wonder I felt wobbly. So I made a simple change. I filled a water bottle in the morning and kept it near me all day. I added a splash of lemon to make it more enjoyable. I even started sipping herbal tea instead of my second coffee. Within a week, I felt more alert. The dizziness faded. I moved with more confidence. Staying hydrated isn't just about quenching thirst. It's about giving your body what it quietly asks for, especially now, in these later years, when the signals aren't as loud but the need is still there. Don't wait for thirst to remind you. Give your body what it's been missing. Sometimes, the simple act of drinking water can bring balance back to your steps. The familiar home, hidden risk. For over 30 years, I've lived in the same house. I know it like the back of my hand, every creaky floorboard, every corner. I used to think there was no safer place on earth, but one afternoon changed that. I was carrying a laundry basket from the bedroom to the living room. My arms were full, and I couldn't see the floor clearly. As I stepped into the hallway, my foot caught the edge of a small rug. One I had walked over thousands of times. I didn't fall, but I twisted my ankle and had to sit right there on the floor. It was a shock, not just to my body, but to my sense of safety. That day I realized something important. Our homes feel familiar, but that doesn't always mean they're safe. In fact, one of the most common reasons why older women lose balance isn't outside. It's right inside the house. Loose rugs, slippery floors, dim lighting in the hallway, a lamp cord stretched too far, or a step up into the kitchen that feels just a little steeper than it used to. All of these things, small, ordinary details, can become hazards with age. I walked through my home with new eyes after that day. I added non-slip mats, moved the pans I use most to waist height, installed a grab bar near the shower. I even bought nightlights for the hallway and the bathroom. Not big changes, but they made all the difference. We spend so much of our lives taking care of others, but now we need our space to take care of us. We need our home to help us feel steady, not make us nervous with every step. If your home hasn't changed in years, maybe it's time it did. Not to look different, but to feel safer. A familiar place can still hold new dangers, but with a few thoughtful steps, it can also be the safest place to stand tall again. So many of the things that make us unsteady can be changed. Weak muscles can be rebuilt. Dim lights can be replaced. Even the small habits like grabbing furniture or skipping water can be corrected with care. You don't need to accept losing balance as just a part of growing older. You still have control. You still have strength. And every small step you take today can bring more confidence tomorrow. If any part of this felt familiar, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. What's one change you're ready to make this week? And if this helped you, share it with someone you care about. Don't forget to subscribe for more simple ways to feel stronger and safer right where you are.